those fights with myself before I even get to that point. And
I don't think it's anything wrong with that. I mean, what are your thoughts, Sherretha?
Well, here's the thing. Anger too is a natural emotion.
it is.
So, I mean, how you gonna know if it was that didn't feel good? Because that made me feel some kind of way that I didn't want to feel. And so sometimes I think that we don't want to say that we angry because sometimes if we, intelligent, you go back and when you say it out loud, you're like, yeah, that was kind of ridiculous. Like, did I really get upset about that? But look deeper. If it was ridiculous, then go back because something in you that you need to look at and see why that upset you. But anger is a real emotion, and yeah, we're allowed to have it. And especially as women of color, we've been told you don't want to be the angry black woman. Yeah, you can be angry, and it's okay. It's fine. Yes, we can. We absolutely can be angry, and it's okay.
Yeah, and to like, I think coming up with I wouldn't necessarily say other word, so to speak, but maybe that anger isn't from the whole angry black woman thing. Like that could be a whole nother podcast, but or a whole nother episode. But it may not always be anger. Like I know when the things were happening, a few summers ago, right when COVID popped off, in the black community. I mean, the initial reaction was anger, but the emotion behind that, or you could even say the sponsor and thought, so to speak, was hurt and just I wouldn't even necessarily say
Fear.
fear. I wouldn't say fear, but I mean just the whole like um this could be the things that were happening could be me, and it's not like an empathy, it's more of a, yeah, like I said, just like a this that literally could happen to me. It just didn't because I wasn't there. So maybe disdain, I couldn't really put the word on that emotion. But yeah, the sponsoring thought was anger, but then like I said, the emotions behind that were not anger. They weren't rooted in anger. It took me back to like, dang, this is like our reality. This is still going on in the 21st century. Like, yeah, this is wild. Disbelief. I mean, it was so much behind that. So when people kind of group us into that stereotype as an angry black woman, especially in like corporate America, like it's not that I'm coming off angry. You may perceive me as being angry, but I feel like I'm being misunderstood or belittled or condescended, and like that's not a good feeling. Like it's just not like I'm not gonna be open and welcoming. My body language is not gonna be open and welcoming when you are talking to me like I'm a straight up fool. Like, yeah, I mean, no, I'm not angry. I'm appalled that you that you're trying to condescend me. So I think anger at sometimes can be that emotion, that raw emotion itself can just be misunderstood and not necessarily misunderstood, but mislabeled by society. Yeah. So
So let me ask you this though. How do you feel after you told somebody you were angry with them?
so it kind of all depends on the relation to that person. So if I'm at work and it's a subordinate type of situation, and I say, hey, you did this and it made me angry. To me that's an easier conversation, and I don't know if it's because like they're a subordinate, but I feel like um I don't know, like as soon as I utter those words, I feel like it opens up a dialogue, if that's
Mm,
if that makes sense.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
From a familial perspective, so like my cousins, my mom, when I have those conversations, it's more of like, to Nini's point, I mean, it does kind of feel like shameful, like, dang, like I'm angry with you and I really don't want to have this conversation with you because I love you and I don't want to have no falling out because, I'm angry and, I actually want to have a truthful conversation about my feelings. So it's a little bit different, like I think it just all depends on, the receiver of my message of anger.
I actually had an experience this week with my leader about how I felt towards him. And it was, I was angry because there were just some things that I felt were not fair or just kind of made me feel a little left out or that he was favoring, other employees over me. And it was really hard for me to have this conversation with him because he's like the nicest guy. But like I said, I was feeling how I was feeling, and we had, one-on-one tag up, and I was going to tell him how I felt. And after that, I felt really empowered. So, and it was just kind of like I got it, like I got it out of me. And yeah, and then it was out there, it was over, and I was good. Now I'm whistling Dixies, and he got to figure out, like how he feels about it. So that was my recent experience of
Yeah, and that's dope too, because I mean, I kind of feel like as soon as you say something, and like I said, it opens up the dialogue, and you're not just pent up frustration. Like I said, you over there in the corner mad, and then the other person don't even know. Like,
mm,
yeah,
yep.
that's wild. So the next question is definitely one that kind of touches me, but for Sherretha, like, how have you ever used anger as a motivator in your life?
Because I so don't like it. Feels like it paralyzes me. Like when I'm angry to the core. Like I'm thinking about running somebody over, and I don't like those thoughts. So it motivates me to confront the person sooner, so that I can feel better. So that's how I use it. I use it to make myself have those conversations so that I can feel better.
That's dope and that's brave.
Do you always have to have that conversation with that person, or can you like write it down?
I can write it down. So I had to have. So Corey is not a talker. If it's a conversation, he's gonna shrink. So I wrote him a long text message this week, and of course, all the fear, how he's gonna receive it. But as I hit send, I felt 1,000 times better, and I'm like, I said it. I was angry. I said it. I'm done with it. Um, and and then going back to the fear, how it ties in, I was like, now that was really a love letter to myself. Because it was all the things that I didn't like, all the things that were making me angry, all the things that I thought your shortcomings, not shortcomings, I should say, but the things that I felt you could be better at, or you're overlooking, you slacking on this and that, or whatever. Um, but to me, it was a love letter to myself. I was able to get it off my chest, put it where it needed to be, because I can't fix somebody. You got to want to fix yourself. And if you don't know what's going on, and I'm just walking around mad, how that's not fair to you not to even give you an opportunity to fix it. I'm just mad, and you don't even know where I'm at. So yeah, it motivates me, um, so I can feel better because I don't like to walk around that way, and I don't think it's fair for us to have to walk around um, because of what somebody else is doing, whether they know it or not. It's not fair. So.
Okay. So then, go ahead, Nini. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say it. That almost sounds pretty poetic. And I can see how fear could creep into something like that by not like really knowing how this person is gonna respond to it, or if they don't see it, if they don't really understand like where I'm coming from or nothing changes, you know what I mean? Like I can definitely see where fear can come in um, but
And then there's the courage, because you got to have the courage to confront, right?
mhm.
You got to have that courage to say, hey, regardless how this turns out, this is what I'm feeling, and I'm going to honor me first. And that just goes back to what everybody always says, you have to teach people how to love you. If you don't honor yourself, they're not going to honor you. And it is absolutely true. And if you don't, I don't know. We're all here to make each other better. And how is that person even going to get better if they don't even know they're doing something? How are you going to know how that person feels if you don't give them the opportunity to change? You tell them and they don't change. That kind of shows you how they feel, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of things go with that.
that's a good point. So I guess that's a really good segue into our next emotion, which is envy. Now, a lot of people may confuse envy and jealousy and may kind of identify them as being one and the same, but they're actually really different. So, envy is a natural emotion, and it is actually a motivator and a desire, and it also gives birth to greatness. Jealousy is a fear driven emotion where you desire for the other person to have less or lose whatever it is that they have or wherever they have going on or where they are in life because, you want it to, or you feel like that they shouldn't have it. So, with envy being a natural emotion, urging us to strive better and to, do more, can you kind of give us an example of how you used envy as a motivator?
I want to say just like you said, I use it to motivate me. Like if you um, just
Or,
what made me go back to be a nurse. There was a 23, 24-year old who was a nurse practitioner that worked on the floor that I worked at. And I was 28 with 6 kids, and like, dang, I wanted it. And I used to just like be so envious of her. Um, and she just said, just go do it. Like, just go do it. Like, just go do it. Like that concept never even entered. Like, just go do it. Just like that. Just go do it. There was one who used to go on vacation by herself, and I was like, just get on the plane and go by yourself. She was like, you just get on the plane. And what I asked her was, how you go to dinner by yourself? I go sit in the restaurant and I eat. Like, okay, like,
She
how
like,
do
I
you do
mean,
that?
you know.
And I think a lot of times with Tracy and I, if your house gonna be looking nice, oh, my house gonna be looking nice too. So those, you want a good circle, and I think that goes back to your circle. You don't have somebody who you don't envy in that circle, then you're in the wrong circle.
Yeah, that's dope.
like that. Can you remember any experiences where you were jealous?
Yeah. You know what? I've never, this whole hater thing. I've never wanted what somebody else has had. I don't want your thing. I don't want to deprive anybody of any good thing. Just no. And it took me a long time to even realize that I could have a hater because I don't have those thoughts. And I was like with the situation where my coworker, when she was saying all those things, I was like, I've heard of these things. Like I never thought that could be me because I've never had that emotion, like a jealousy emotion. Like I love all good things for all people, and I think if you work hard enough, or whatever, if you just stumble, I might say, "Dang, you just $1 million just like that? Damn!" But I ain't gonna try to take yours. I might. What ticket did you buy? Why did you do that? But anyway, no, I wouldn't begrudge anybody any good thing. No. And if it has come to you, it is yours to have, not mine.
Yeah, that's definitely a good way to think about it. Cause I'd be like, man, you won $1 million.